What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Not So Pro Fantasy Football Talk. We are back at it again with some more fantasy football advice. And I can't tell you guys how excited I am for this week. Really, this waiver wire is absolutely loaded when it comes to wide receivers. You have a lot of options as far as wide receivers, who to pick up. Even in running backs, you have some good streaming options in the running back position. So there's a lot of stuff to be excited about. I'm super excited. Vince, are you excited? How'd you do last week?
This was probably my worst week of fantasy football. Went 2-3, but not that bad. I'm still 4-0 in one league, and I'm 3-1 in two others. So I'm still
Nice.
sitting pretty.
Nice. Now, if you hear me kind of say a little, okay, here we go, there we go, while you're talking, Vince, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm also live here on TikTok, and I'm trying to make sure that the viewers on TikTok know that I'm not just dead silent here, okay? We're going to be talking a lot. We got a lot of comments already. So we're going to start off with Brandon Rogers. He's in here, says, let's go. First comment, and his question is Ty Chandler and Dottle reliable this week? I have them as a waiver pickup because both my running backs are on bye this week. That is rough. Holy crap, dude. Well, I can tell you right now, Ty Chandler, hell no. You don't want to start Ty Chandler. I don't care how deep that league is. I am staying away from that individual. Now, as far as Rico Dottle, I like his trend, right? He's getting the reps. He is getting more and more snap percentage. He is clearly the lead back out there in Dallas. Now, the only thing I don't like is that he's going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have a great defense, especially against the run. It's absolutely insane. So Rico Dottle is the better of the two between him and Ty Chandler, but I'm going to hesitate starting him over the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. If that's your last choice, that's your only choice, sure, go for it.
Yeah, I think some better bets there are going to be like Samaje Perine if you can get him, Brown if you can get him from Cincinnati. He had an amazing game this past week, so he might be able to go forward with it. The only other two running backs I might start is either if you can find Jaleel McLaughlin.
Well. So if you guys are on TikTok, check us out.
Let's try to find him there. But yeah, other than that, I don't know if you should start Ty Chandler, especially take that waiver wire off.
If you guys are on TikTok, if you see me go silent, it's because I have another host here with me on YouTube. We answer questions on YouTube as well, so we're giving our input. But I see you guys here in the comment section. Mr. Gleonard816 says, thoughts on Tyreek. Should I bench or trade or keep on? That's what she said. Honestly, Tyreek Hill, Tua is staying, right? Tua is going to be here for the season. He should be coming back one day. You saw yesterday that Huntley was trying to force the ball to Tua, try to get him involved, missed him a couple of times. I fully believe that connection will get a little bit better as weeks go on. So honestly, I'm going to sit tight. I'm going to hold on to Tua unless you could get a crazy good trade. I mean, hold on to Tyreek Hill unless you get a crazy good trade for him. But that's how I feel right now. We actually starting to get a lot of comments here on TikTok. Vince says Jameson Williams, CMC, Devontae Adams, Jalen Warren, trading A for B. I have Jordan Mason. Okay, so A is Jameson Williams and CMC, trading them for Devontae Adams and Jalen Warren. Honestly, CMC might be out, right? He might be retiring. I hate to say it because I'm a Niners fan. Jameson Williams, he looks good as a flex position, but I want to have Devontae Adams, whether he's holding out or not. This guy is a wide receiver one. Doesn't matter where he's at. And then there's a follow-up question, Vince, saying, where do you think Adams goes? Huh? Everyone wants to say the Jets. I hope not. I don't like that one bit. We have some comments here on the YouTube channel saying, screw TikTok. This is a YouTube channel. But we got to share. We got to share right here with you guys. So what do you think, Vince? Where does Devontae Adams go if you were to get traded?
If anything, I know the Chiefs will try to meddle in there, but I don't think they'll be able to get him since they are a divisional rival. But that's probably the only other area besides the Jets, or shoot, maybe even the Chargers could possibly try to dip in there, try to get a stud wide receiver to mentor some of the young guys that they have.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really don't know where else he would go. I still think he might be a Las Vegas Raider. I don't know if they want to trade him just yet.
I have a comment here. We're gonna get to Liam's right now on YouTube, but I have a comment here. It says, "You think it's fine if I support the Niners from Texas?" Mr. Sir, I am from Texas. I reside here. I grew up in Texas. I was born in Texas. I've been a Niners fan since I was 5 years old. I'm currently 26 years old. It's absolutely okay, but I know the pain and suffering you go every single day with all them Cowboys fans out there. Should I pick up Wicks even though I have Reed? It doesn't hurt to pick up Wicks.
Do
The
it.
targets were insane this past week. But now let's get into YouTube here, Vince. We have Liam. Liam, appreciate you coming back. Liam says, I traded Achan, Devontae Smith, and Darnold for Derrick Henry, Terry McLaurin. My running backs are Henry, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, and Charbonnet, while my was our London CD, Jaden Reed, W or L. Honestly, I think this is a dub here. I like this.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. If you can, honestly, try to trade Charbonnet for like a better wide receiver option as well, just because you got London and Jaden Reed. Uh, it's just possibly you might be a little bit weak there now. But just getting rid of Devontae Smith, even though he was hurt, is probably just a little bit of a killer, in my opinion. But I still think this is a dub here. You got Derrick Henry and Terry McLaurin who are just going off. But you still might need backup wide receiver to come into the flex whenever you have a bye week for one of your running backs. But keep rolling, man. Doing good.
Keep on rolling, Liam. Appreciate you being here. Back over on TikTok. We're trying to keep up back and forth. Rossi's traded Goff, his backup quarterback, and Rashad White for Etienne and Herbert. What do you think? I am a little worried about Etienne, right? Because Tank Bigsby has been coming in. He looks good. Etienne's dealing with a little bit of a shoulder injury, but Rashad White's on the same boat with Bucky Irving. So
Yeah.
honestly, I think that's an upgrade. If you get Etienne over Rashad White and you get Herbert, since Jared Goff was your backup, I will say that would be a dub for you, sir. Let's
But
see.
let's
Appreciate you
see.
guys. We got a couple of follows here on TikTok, so thank you guys so much. We're gonna
Nice.
go back and forth, but Rave says drop D Hop for Kareem Hunt. Vince, I'll let you take this one.
I kind of would. Hunt right now is probably going to be the prime back, even though they're still probably going to split carries with all three of them with P. Ryan and Steele. But it's not bad, especially if you have a good wide receiver core.
Would you make that
Uh,
trade for? I'm sorry, I
yeah,
thought I muted myself.
no, you're good. Yeah, but I think I would drop D Hop at this point in time. He's going to have those up and down weeks, so you can let him be somebody else's problem, even though I know you love him, Rave. I know you love him. But I think Hunt is probably the better upside guy, especially if you need help in the wide receiver room. But let's move on here while AJ deals with TikTok. Where's Devontae going? I mean, we kind of said it a little bit. I think you were on already. But I think he could possibly land with the Chargers, or Kansas City might make a run for him. I don't know if they would want to do that interdivisional trade like that from the Raiders to the Chiefs. But other than that, I mean, everybody's saying Jets, everybody's saying possibly Commanders, like all these, no-name teams basically. I won't say that the Commanders are a no-name team, but I will say the Jets are. Right, Dizzle? But Rave says some crazy ones. Broncos or Raiders D. Oh, I thought he was going to say Devontae to the Broncos. That'd be crazy, in my opinion. But I think here I'm going to go the Broncos D. I just think they're doing pretty well for a defense. They're holding a lot of teams to minimal points. So I think that's the best bet there. But we'll move on here. Jets are getting him, and y'all are scared. I'm not scared at all. I think if Devontae goes over there, it's just another dysfunctional receiver who's not going to get what he wants. He's injured right now. So, again, we don't know if that injury is going to persist for a while or if he's going to be reoccurring with that injury. but I'm not scared if he goes to the Jets. I think that just makes him more dysfunctional. Garrett Wilson will probably benefit from that, but Devontae won't. They just have a tough schedule this year, and so do the Raiders. So Devontae is just not going to be a great wide receiver this year, in my opinion. I would sell high on him. Dizzle also says, is 10 too much for Tucker Kraft with Laporta on a bye? I would say it's not, but shoot, thanks for telling me, because I think we might be trying to get him in the same league. So we'll see. See if you need to put more on him. But Brandon Rogers says, is Justice Hill worth picking up? I would say he is. They utilized him a lot this past game. I think he was somewhere north of 20 points, close to even 30 points in some leagues, just because of that pass catching ability that he has. So I think it's great. Go ahead and pick him up. I think he's way better than the guys that you said earlier. Ty Chandler's not it. He says, I dropped Ty Chandler and got Pirine. Yeah, I think that's a better bet. But Justice Hill is better than both of those guys. So if you can get Justice Hill, that's a win. But freaking Pinches Shakezilla. What's up, man? What's up? Jets giving up that third rounder for Adams. Easy. I wonder if the Raiders would actually agree to that. I think Devontae Adams still at this point is worth more than a third round. But if they don't get what they want, I think they would ask for the minimum of a second rounder, maybe even a first rounder is like pushing it. But I don't think the Raiders will trade him if they're not going to get what they want in return. They should probably want some guys that are going to help them on the defensive side, on the offensive line, in order to trade away Devontae Adams. If not, it's going to be some high compensatory picks there, in my opinion. But Liam says, hey, AJ, have you looked at the standings in our fantasy league? I'm first. Also, respond to my trade. I'm assuming you're talking in the free league there, the one that I'm not in.
Liam, I see your comment. Screw you. I'm coming back. Don't you worry. You're first. I'm actually kind of. I mean, I only have one loss, which I lost by like 4 points, but
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, Liam. Don't you worry about that.
Hilarious. Yeah, I knew he was going to come in, but good, Liam. I hope you take that league. We'll see. It's because I'm not there, though. But Shakezilla also says KC doesn't like paying their wide receivers. No Adams, in my opinion. Well, again, they would probably do something to where the Raiders pay off half of his contract, something like that. I don't know. But the Raiders are trying to get on. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs are trying to get on everything right now with Rashee Rice looming. But we'll see what the injury is. I heard some stuff on a podcast, I believe, that maybe Rashee Rice may not be done this season. They're still looking into exactly what his injury was. I don't know for any reason at all why we haven't gotten a clear cut. Like, this is what it is. This is how long he's going to be out. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but we'll see. Sam, what's up, Mr. McCall? He says, I need some tight end help. Kelsey, Laporta, Andrews have really been dragging or just straight not performing. Yeah, it's been that way. I know Kelsey had a decent game this past game, but again, it's not something that we're used to with him being so inconsistent. He says, hold on or make changes. I think you hold on. Laporta also had a decent game against the Seahawks this past week. But again, it's not anything to rave about. Andrews, for sure, I think you can get rid of. In my opinion, he's one of the older tight ends that's not really going to produce on that team anymore. But Kelsey and Laporta deserve to stay on your roster because you use such a high draft pick to get them. It's either a second or a third for both of those guys. And I think you need to keep them. They're just sitting on the bench, taking a spot until they come back. But for now, hit the waiver wire. Get guys like Tucker Kraft. You should be pretty familiar with him. And if not, get guys like Zach Ertz. They still should be there. Some other guys might be Kobe Parkinson. But other than that, I really don't trust any of those other guys. Isaiah Likely, don't get him. Cade Otton, don't get him. Yeah, so those are my tight ends that I pick up whenever I need somebody for a buy or with my tight ends doing bad. But Liam also says Jaden Reed or London. Reed versus the Rams, London versus the Bucks. Thanks for telling me that because I haven't memorized this week's schedule just yet. But I think I might go Jaden Reed here. The Rams defense is giving up a lot of yards to passing quarterbacks. So Jordan Love's back. He should be going off, in my opinion. I'm still not sold on Drake London. And the Bucks defense is not the best, not the worst, but I think London will still get his. But I think Jaden Reed, of course, is that boom guy, and he's been getting a lot of touches. So I think that benefits him a lot. But Dizzle here, he says, nah, I don't care about NSP Gold League, a belt. Show me the money. No problem, bro. If you don't want to take it seriously, that's fine. You know, we'll continue to beat you. But Rave says, I stashed Leggett last week. Is he startable next week, especially because of the bye weeks? I think he is. For some reason, I don't know why he's not the prime guy. But of course, Deontay Johnson is going to demand a lot of receptions, a lot of targets because he's their big paid guy. But I think Leggett should be used a little bit more than he is right now. He had a great game last week, but I think it could be much better. I think with the bye weeks, he's a safe flex start. I don't know if he's going to be that wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1 that you're going to be needing, but if you can like kind of put him in one of your flex spots, if you have 1 or 2, I think that's the better bet and try to get some guys that are a little bit more consistent than he is. But yeah. Let's see. He says, y'all missed my wide receiver dilemma. Let me scroll up and see if I can find it, but I don't see it. All I see is the Jets comment, the Kansas City comment, and that's about it. And then now this comment. So let me know if we are missing it or just put another comment down. But it says KC getting Tyreek back and winning a third chip. Nah, I don't think that's going to happen. They would have to trade so much, especially so much of their future, which I think would just be a bad deal. Miami traded a lot to get Tyreek Hill, and I think if they're going to trade him away, even though Tua is supposed to come back this season, I think they demand just as much because Tyreek Hill is still at his prime at this current time. So I think it's all right. I think they're not going to get him. But Dizzle also says Rashee Rice and Hollywood both out crazy. Yeah, man. I mean, Kansas City is just going to find a way somehow. They're going to sign some guys off of the practice squad or off of free agency, and they're still going to be probably fine. But I don't know. I don't see how Kansas City can stay undefeated without those two guys. But we'll see how they do it. It should benefit Kelsey, in my opinion, especially for you, Sam, when you were asking earlier. But let's see. Dizzle says, love Vince the Prince skipping comments. I mean, I don't see it in here, man. If I saw it, I would put it up because I go in the order that it comes in. But the only ones from Shakezilla that I see is going to be this comment and this comment. So I don't know. The next comment from Shakezilla is this one saying that I miss his wide receiver dilemma. So it might be on the end of our platform. Maybe it just didn't come in. But yeah, just repost it if I did miss it. Sorry about that, but I don't see it here. Let's see. He says, who do you think I get for Charbonnet that would be worth my while? Well, if anything, I would probably need you to post your entire roster here, but this is basically what you have from what you told us. So I think if you have McLaurin and you have London, I think those are good 1-2 punch guys. But try to get somebody. I know you just traded away Devontae Smith. He's like my main guy that I'm trying to trade for in most leagues. Even if I have AJ Brown, I'm still like okay with pairing them up. But try to get like a guy like Rashid Shaheed. Shoot, some guys are skipping my mind here, but maybe even try to go high with like Garrett Wilson. He hasn't been producing. Maybe he will in the long run. Maybe some guys like Zay Flowers as well. For some of the guys in your league who are running back hungry right now, they don't have any good running backs. Those are probably the guys that you could probably go after because they just have not been performing at all. So you might be able to snipe one out from somebody. Dizzle says light 6.1 miles post work. Not bad, man. How long did it take you to run that? Hopefully it's like an hour max, especially with your pace. I think you said that you're like at a 7 to 8 mile pace when you're chilling. So maybe like an hour or some. But Dizzle says, as long as KC has number 15, as KG once said, anything's possible. Love that. But yeah, I mean, they just somehow make everything possible. I don't get it. but Patrick Mahomes is just that guy right now. Rave says, thoughts on B-Rob rest of season. I think he's a must start the rest of the season. He'll be as high as a running back 2, in my opinion, especially if you have a better running back than him. But he was a snipe this year because not everybody was looking at him. Everybody was like, ooh, new shiny toy. Eckler is in Washington. Hopefully it's a good restart for him. And B-Rob was kind of left on the back burner. For those of the people that actually knew about fantasy and knew what B-Rob was about, they still stuck with him even though Eckler came in the building. So if you got him, I'd say he's a start. He might drop to the flex some weeks if you have 2 running backs that are better than him. But in my opinion, B-Rob is a must start as long as he is running as he is. So especially with Eckler out, he's definitely benefiting right now. But it just depends on game script there for Washington. But usually they're leading, and B-Rob is good with being a receiving back. Brandon says, me and Vince are making a trade for that CMC. I mean, I took it off. I saw a trade that you sent to Reed. I mean, I'm telling you, man, what I sent you is the best that you're going to get. So if you want to do that trade, just send it back to me and I'll push it through. I'm more than happy to do that. Bedizzle says, should I feel good about Terry rest of the season? I think so. The way the Commanders are rolling, their schedule is not all that bad, as usually those guys in the NFC East over there don't have a tough schedule. I think that the Commanders and Jaden Daniels should be pretty good. So Terry might have some weeks where he's not the number 1 guy, but I still think he's going to be getting decent points. I have him as a wide receiver 2 or a flex guy the rest of the season. So I think he's pretty good. This one says, Big Money Joe offered me Wilson for Rice. Pain. Yeah, man. I mean, there's something about Rice right now that they're just holding off on saying exactly what injury he has. So there's a possibility that you could maybe play Rice later on in the playoffs. I don't know what the injury is. Maybe it was just a partial tear of the ACL. Maybe it was a meniscal tear. But if it was meniscus, then I mean, that's best case scenario because meniscus can be repaired later on. But usually they'll just go in there and do a little microsurgery with some cameras and robot tools, and they'll just scrape off that excess and get to it at the end of the season. So who knows? Rice may be back. I don't know if I would take that. Wilson, I really don't believe in Wilson the rest of the season. They have a tough schedule, and I don't think Wilson has good matchups, in my opinion. He's just not wide receiver 1 material as we thought he was going to be. So Liam says quarterbacks are Love and Mayfield. Good duo there. Running backs are Henry, Walker, Jones, and Charbonnet. But wide receivers are, you have CD. How did you not even tell us that, man? CD, Reed, London, and McLaurin. Bowers and Likely as a tight end. I think you're set, my guy. I think you sit for a couple weeks. Hopefully nobody gets injured. Knock on that wood there. But I think your team is primed and ready. CD's finding his form again. He's getting back in there as the offensive number 1 guy. Top 10 wide receiver again in the wide receiver positions for fantasy now. But Reed is a sleeper guy. London, he's actually producing. He's got 15 points in, I believe, the past 2 or 3 games. I cannot remember. McLaurin as well, positive 15 in the past 2 games, especially with Jaden Daniels just going nuclear. So I think you're primed, man. Maybe possibly trading Charbonnet to get a tight end, maybe a better tight end than Bowers right now. Bowers is pretty consistent, but shoot, try to get like someone like Ferguson. I mean, shoot for the stars. Ferguson's been doing a little bit better. He's probably like a top 5 tight end right now. But let's see. So Dizzle says 6:56 pace, 42 minutes, 22 seconds. Nice. Pretty good pace. I like that, especially for 6 miles. That's pretty good because 6 miles, usually people will, taper off after like 2nd, 3rd mile. But if you can keep that pace throughout that time, that's pretty dang good. Good job, Dizzle. Must be the air up there. I don't know if you could do that over here in Texas with this mugginess. But Rave says pick 2, Leggett, Hunt, Wandale, Robinson. Right off the bat, I think I'm going to go Leggett and Wandale here. I just like their matchups this week. Hunt, he's got a little bit of a tough matchup against New Orleans, who is not too bad against the run. But Hunt may be able to, benefit from Rashee Rice not being there. Maybe he's the guy that they start throwing to. We've seen Hunt be that dual type running back, and maybe Steele and his fumble issues just got him booted from playing again. So I don't know, man. But in my opinion, I think the safe bets here are getting Wando. Just do a little bit more research, see how Kansas City is going to come out, if they even reveal anything like that. But yeah, I'm going to go with the wide receivers here. Let's see. B-Rob, as in Brian Robinson Jr. or Bijan Robinson? I'm pretty sure he was talking about B-Rob as in Brian Robinson Jr. Usually that's what people call him. Usually if they're saying Bijan, they say Bijan. So, but yeah. And Brandon Rogers, he says, is Vince on the phone? Actually, no, I'm not on the phone. But if anything, when I was on the phone, I was probably checking like a message or something. But sometimes, yeah, I usually do check a message if it comes in. But I usually don't respond unless somebody's able to talk. So Liam also says, pick up Josh Downs, 9 targets and 8 catches last week. Seems promising. Yeah, but again, I think it's only if what's his name? Joe Flacco. If he's in, then yes. Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, anybody else who's a wide receiver or a tight end for that team, wherever Joe Flacco goes, they're a pass-heavy team. So in my opinion, if it's Joe Flacco this week, I think Downs is worth it. So if you want to stash him on your bench, pick him up off the waiver wire, maybe. But I'm going after more guys like Wicks. I'm going after other people. Let's see, like Shaheed, if they're still out there. But Josh Downs is good. Maybe Tutu Atwell as well. I think he's a better pickup. He's going to be more consistent if he is on the waiver wire. And then, of course, Xavier Legette. I think those guys are worth picking up more just because they have their consistent quarterback who's going to be throwing to them. So Josh Downs, again, if Anthony Richardson comes back, it's not looking good for Josh Downs or Michael Pittman. So they just don't pass enough when he's there. K-Dizzle says, no, he offered me, but before the injury, I can't trade Rice for poop now. Well, just hold on to him just a little bit. We don't know exactly what his injury is. Don't be that guy who drops him just because you see him possibly having an ACL injury. Always wait for that MRI scan. Always wait for that secondary opinion. Unless it's a clean-cut tear and it says from Ian Rappaport or somebody else noteworthy that, Rashee Rice is out for the season, hold on to him, because I made a trade. This is an amazing trade in my opinion now that you look back at it. Last week, I made a trade. I had Rashee Rice. One guy had Tyreek Hill. I said, I think Tyreek Hill is going to be amazing, way better than Rice when Tua comes back. So I made the risky move, and I traded Rashee Rice for Tyreek Hill. So I got Tyreek Hill. Literally, the guy starts Rashee Rice as anybody would, gets hurt, 0.00 points, and he dropped him literally right after the Monday night game. So I'm picking him back up just for the odd chance that, he does come back later in the season, maybe during playoffs. And, I just basically got Tyreek Hill for free. So we'll see if I can get Rashee Rice back on my roster. I think it benefits me. But also, I see that we have 12 people in here. If this is your first time in here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We are on our road to 1,000 subscribers here, and we appreciate everybody who comes in, comments. We get to every single comment, every single week, every video. So even if you can't make the live and you comment later on, we'll get back to your comment after that. Let's see, Golden Rain. This might be your first time. Golden Rain 7. This might be your first time here, so if it is, thank you for sticking around. If you're still here, like I said, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But let's get to your question real quick. It says, should I trade Mike Evans and Cortland Sutton for McLaurin and Pickens? Oof, that is a pretty good one. Because Mike Evans, he's going to, every other week, going to be that guy who gets a touchdown, and it affects his score. But I think right now Mike Evans is a little bit more reliant on touchdowns just because of how Godwin is playing. And of course, Cortland Sutton, he's on the Broncos, but he gets quite a bit of some long bombs over there from Bo Nix. So I'm not too sure what his fantasy points are looking like. So I'm going to check it out here because I don't have him in any leagues. But I see he's consistently the past week 13.8, 15 in PPR leagues. So I think that's pretty good. But I know that McLaurin is getting well above that. I know Pickens is also getting pretty close to that as well, if not more. So let me check out Pickens because I don't have him either. But Pickens is pretty reliable. I just think that for him, he's going to have some tougher matchups later on in the season. So it might not be beneficial. See if you can possibly do a straight up Mike Evans or McLaurin. If you could possibly get that, I think you totally win that. But I'm not mad if you do this trade. I think it's a pretty good trade. Mike Evans is just a little bit too inconsistent for me right now. Like I said, touchdown reliant. But yeah, I think if you get McLaurin and Pickens, I think you win this trade in the long run for sure. Dizzle stepped on the scale 168 today on a full stomach. Man, what'd you eat though? What'd you eat? Did you eat some glizzies or what? I would assume you had like 5 of them. He says, "What did Pop Smoke say? Shoot for the stars, aim for the moon." I don't know if that's what he said, but rest in peace for Pop, man. Miss that guy and his music. Brandon Rogers says, "I meant AJ, sorry." Yeah, AJ's on TikTok. So he just muted himself because, as you know, on TikTok and when you're live on TikTok, comments just never stop. So I'm assuming since his mouth's been moving as frequently as mine has, he's got a shit ton of comments to get to. So, yeah. But Rave says, thoughts on Swift? He got good matchup too against Carolina this week. Dude, Swift is a sleeper. The first 3 weeks, he had tough matchups. Bears' offense was horrendous. Now the Bears are finding themselves on the offensive side just a little bit. They're taking those steps one at a time. But Swift now, you saw that big run that kind of propped up his stat line. So a lot of people still don't believe in him, but I do, because the next 10 weeks, I don't know if you looked at his matchups on fantasy, but they're all green, my guy. So everybody there is horrendous against the run. The Bears have an easy schedule this year. I think there's only like one orange and one red matchup for the rest of the season for them as of running game. So Swift, as long as he's healthy, I think he's a guy to stash. I think he's a flex guy right now. And I think by the middle of the season, he's going to be a running back 2, running back 1. So that's my bold prediction for the rest of the season for Swift. I think I drafted him and I dropped him, and he's still on the waiver wire in a 10-man team. I don't know why. But so I'm going to pick him back up just because after this week, I think he's going to be gone on almost every single platform, whether you're 8-man, 10-man, 12-man, of course 12-man. But Swift, yeah, pick him up. I think he's worth it. Damien says, "What about tight ends? Honestly, Mark Andrews has me in shambles." Yeah, my guy. I think I said it earlier in this live. I think he's a droppable candidate right now. If you want to stash him, you can. But there's so many guys in the waiver wire that are just so much better than him. Colby Parkinson. I mean, I don't think so, but a lot of people like Noah Fant for some reason. He's my guy on the Seahawks, but I just don't believe in him week to week. He drops a lot of passes, and he just doesn't get enough. But Zach Ertz, I believe in. He's consistently getting 7 points, so I think he's better. And then if you can get Tucker Kraft, man, I think going on since Jordan Love came back, he was just trigger happy, and I think that's how the Packers are going to be the rest of the season. Of course, they got Josh Jacobs, but I think they rely more on the pass, so I would say try to get Tucker Kraft. But let's see. I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker through these comments here. But Nino Pena, he says, "Am I giving up too much value?" He says, "I want to secure my tight end in a 10-man league. I want to send Andrews and BTJ." Who's BTJ? I'm not too sure. Guys, help me out. He says for McBride. He says wide receivers are still Kupp, Godwin, Devontae Smith, and Diggs. Oh, Brian Thomas Jr. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Let's see. I think that's Brian Thomas Jr., if I'm not mistaken. But if you're Sending Andrews and Brian Thomas Jr. for McBride, yes, I think that's a little bit too much. Because he pops off quite often. He's a little bit, up and down, but I think your receivers are good enough. But try to get somebody else. Try to get somebody else on that trade, maybe even like a low end running back. Just because you doing the 2-for-1 there, I think you're losing quite a bit. But yeah, try to get like a guy like Charbonnet, try to get a handcuff guy if he has one, because I think going 2-for-1 there, even though Andrews just is totally trash, I think you could still benefit from getting another player off of that trade. But that's just me. If you're fine with that, I think it's great. McBride should be good the rest of the season after he comes back from this concussion. So hopefully he doesn't get re-injured. But yeah, just get some insurance there. He says, who should I trade Puka for? I don't think you should trade Puka at all. Keep him. Once he comes back, he's going to be pretty consistent. So that's my quick answer there. He says, start AR or Mahomes. Dude, start Mahomes, Bledsoe. Mahomes isn't the best quarterback. I believe he's ranked 15 in most platforms, depending on the scoring there. But Anthony Richardson, it's just a coin toss, man. If they're facing somebody like not worth it at all, then he's going to get some decent points. He's passing the ball a little bit better, but rushing, I mean, that's where the bulk of his points come from. Mahomes, even though he doesn't have any wide receivers, he still has Kelsey. He's still going to get his, and Mahomes can also rush. So I think you'll be fine starting Mahomes. He's going to be the consistent guy for sure. AR, if he comes back healthy after this hip injury, I don't know. I think he's a kind of like a trade candidate for me. Try to get somebody better. There's probably even better people on the waiver wire. Says start one, Addison, Sutton, Flowers, or Hill. I think I'm going to go Addison here. I usually don't like going for these boomer bust players, but Addison got the work as soon as he came back. Sutton is probably my guy who's going to be my safe bet. So if you want the safe bet, it's Sutton for me, because I still think that he gets enough touches from Bo Nix, and he's doing that pretty consistently throughout the season. But Addison is my boom guy, so that's my rankings. Flowers and Hill, I'm benching them until they show me that they're actually worth starting. But Golden Rain says, thanks, man. Just hit the sub button. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. Come back every single Tuesday. We're doing lives like this every Tuesday and helping you with the waiver wire. We also have a Discord. Go down in the description below, hit the Discord, join it. We talk about football all week long, and we try to get your comment as quickly as possible. So any trades, anything like that, talking about football, hit us up. We'll give you our opinions. Damien also says, Parker, Mahomes, all the way, bro. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. He agrees with us. Let's see. He says, I had some salmon, chicken, and cheesy. Oh, dude, cheesy potatoes are the best, Dizzle. It's like such the best carb ever. What kind of cheese do you use? Do you use like cheddar, mozzarella, or do you use like a Mexican mix? Or I don't know. But I get crazy with my potatoes, bro. Love those carbs. Let's see. Nikki Plunkett, welcome. I believe this is your first time here on YouTube at least. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you can. We're going to be here every Tuesday live for all the fantasy advice that you need, trades, pickups, who to sit, all that stuff. So he says thoughts on ETN and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, probably going to be one of the best running backs in this league for the next year. Next year we'll have to reassess because age is a factor. But I mean, this guy defies age. So Derrick Henry is a must start every single week. I would even start him on my bye week. That's how much I love him so much right now. He's just killing it. Hopefully he can keep it up because again, age is a factor. But I like Derrick Henry. ETN, he's been losing some touches, man. Tank Bigsby. I got him in my dynasty league because I know it's a ticking time bomb right there for ETN and the Jaguars. And to top it off, horrible offensive line, horrible defense, horrible offense. I mean, ETN just is not it for me this year. He can get some decent fantasy points when he gets a touchdown, but I think he's a trade candidate. If you can trade him, go ahead and try it. Try to get somebody else that's more consistent. Tony Pollard, even Devin Singletary from the Jets, man. They're using him more consistently. Their offense isn't that much greater, but he is a factor in the pass catching game more than ETN is. And he really has nobody behind him to take any carries away. I know they got Tyron Tracy, I believe, but he hasn't been getting any playing time. So, but yeah, those are my thoughts there. Augusto Kashishian. Hopefully I said that right. If not, go ahead and roast me, man. Tell me how to say it. But thank you for joining in here. If this is your first time, again, I'm pretty bad with names. I have to see your face in order to remember you. But I'll try to remember you as much as I can. So keep coming back every Tuesday. We have fantasy advice. And hit that subscribe button and put that bell notification on so you know exactly when we're going live or when we release a video. He says, my running backs are Hall, Kamara, Ford, and Dobbins. Nice. He says, my receivers are London, Rice, Neighbors, Godwin, Pittman, Deontay Johnson. Gosh, man, you got a plethora of guys there. And make sure you hold on to Rice until you know exactly what his injury is. He says, my tight end is Bowers. Me too. I have Bowers in almost every single league. He says, would you do London for Tyreek? Let's see. So with you having Neighbors, Godwin, and Pittman, Deontay Johnson, I think they can hold it down for you until Tyreek Hill and Tua, are back at it. So I think this is well worth it. Tyreek is going to come back. I mean, he's going to be that top 5, top 10 wide receiver this year as soon as Tua is back from the concussion. He is going to come back. I know it for a fact. There hasn't been too much news on all these readings on his concussions because, again, he's trying to keep it in-house. He's trying to make the best decision he can, and the media is just not good right now for that. So London is doing great, though. Try to see if maybe you could send like Pittman for Tyreek Hill. But if not, I think London for Tyreek Hill is a great trade, especially because I'm high on Tyreek Hill coming back and killing it at the end of the year. So I'm assuming that's what you're trying to do too. Yeah, but Nino said Brian Thomas Jr. from his earlier comment. Thank you. Took me a little while to process it, but I got there. He says, "Not y'all need Reed streaming to kick now." Yeah, man, we need him on here. I mean, it's pretty cool though. We're trying to figure out this TikTok stuff, seeing if we can get some guys to come over here to the YouTube side, just so we can get to our 1,000 subscribers. But yeah, man, we love it. We're gonna try to keep doing all the platforms that we can to get the fan base growing, to get that freaking Discord popping with everybody new. We just like to keep it fluctuating, So we'll keep going live now every Tuesday on TikTok and YouTube. Might be a little bit more of this setup, or I might be doing it solo while AJ does the TikTok solo. This is our first test run, so we're just testing it out. But Shakezilla says NSPception. Yeah, man, it's a little crazy here. He says TikTok chat kicking AJ's butt. Yeah, man. I mean, AJ's just going rambling. There's probably so many comments, but he might come in right here.
I'm here on YouTube. I'm about to chime in right here. It's just Shakezilla TikTok. Dude, TikTok's nonstop right now. I am just not, I'm on the fly. Appreciate you guys on TikTok. Like I said, we're on YouTube. Hit us up out there. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys on YouTube. Vince, that's great advice, man.
Thank you, man. You too. It says, y'all join our Discord. Yeah, exactly. Exactly what Brandon said there. Join in. We love talking football. We're on there pretty much 24/7. The only thing that sucks about mine is that I can only use my computer because I have an old college email as my email there. So I can't access it to change it to another email. So try to get back to y'all as quickly as I can. But AJ and Reed are usually pretty good too if I can't. But Dizzle says, cheddar cheese. Heck yeah, man. It's pretty good. Make sure you put like a little bit of salt, a little bit of parsley on there. Make it look gourmet. It just makes it look so much better. But let's see. Polar Knight says your buddy is muted. Yeah, I know. Right now he's on TikTok. That's why. But you probably saw that right now. But Dizzle says ETN smells, in my opinion, overrated family. Kind of like the Cooks. Oh my gosh. Okay, Dizzle. It says, Vince, you listened to that Asian chick song again? I haven't listened to it again, but I listened to the first minute when you said it on Monday's live. It's pretty good, man. I wasn't expecting that, but it was a pretty good song. Let's see. Liam also says, I'm 4-0 in the NSP league, but some miracle, by some miracle, would you change? Let's see. What would I change? Quarterback is A-Rod and Richardson. Probably the quarterback, in my opinion. That's probably where you can get some more points, especially if that's a 10-man league like it used to be. I don't know. I haven't really looked at it because I'm not in that league. But yeah, I would try to upgrade the QBs right off the bat. But you have Henry, Jacobs, Mason, and Dobbins with Chubb coming back. Hopefully this week, if not next week. But for sure he's practicing. But yeah, that's a great running back room. I wouldn't change anything there. Jacobs might not be doing as well as we want him to right now, but he's going to keep getting the touches and he's going to get those points for you eventually. So right now, I'm pretty sure Mason, Henry are holding it down for you. Probably Dobbins in the flex, maybe. But if not, if you have Jacobs in there, I mean, you're 4-0, so you're doing something right. And then wide receivers, you have Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Pittman, Lazard. Not bad. I would try to probably upgrade there. Maybe, sell on Dobbins. I'm selling Dobbins in another league because I have the same problem you do. I have 3 great running backs ahead of him. So I would try to sell Dobbins, get some more wide receiver help here. Lazard is great. I'm pretty sure you picked him up off the waiver wire. But Hill, T, and Pittman, I mean, if you don't have any other wide receivers there, I think that's a pretty, not weak, but pretty mid-tier wide receiver room right now since Hill is not producing that much. But tight end is McBride. Awesome. I'm pretty sure you got some bench guys there. But Liam also says here, he says, I have waiver for Fields too. Awesome. That's exactly what I'm doing in another league. I'm dropping Dak Prescott and I'm getting Fields. I have Sam Darnold as my starter right now. He says it's 2024 Avril Lavigne. Yeah, man. Honestly, I agreed with you. I think you got off quite early there, but yeah, it looks like Avril Lavigne for sure. The outfit, the everything. But Liam says it's a 12-man this year. Ooh, so it got bigger. No wonder. But yeah, let me see. Maybe some wide receivers that'll probably be on the waiver wire. I'm pretty sure Shaheed's not there. But maybe Tutu Atwell might be there if nobody's picked him up yet. Xavier Legette, possibly. Ray McLeod, he's also pretty consistent for the Falcons there. So I would possibly try to get him if he's still there. But if not, it's probably slim pickings after that. You really are not going to find anybody else who's really getting the points there. I would say Jalen Naylor, but again, Addison just came back. So Naylor is kind of going to be irrelevant. But yeah. Other than that, maybe upgrading the tight end there too. Possibly if you can get Tucker Kraft, if he's not taken already, it's possibly a good pickup too to upgrade. I don't know what the flex position is there. I don't know if it's a wide receiver, a running back, tight end deal, or if it's just wide receiver, running back. So that's possibly a guy who you could get in there as well. Let's see. Rave says, I thought Garrett Wilson was gone or going to be the next Devontae Adams with Rodgers at QB. Yeah, I mean, a lot of us did. But again, I think it's just a bunch of tough matchups. Garrett Wilson needs somebody else to take away from that because he's just not consistent enough in getting open. And when he does, Rodgers sometimes just throws a bad ball. Usually they just link up very rarely, and it kind of sucks. So I'm selling Wilson, trying to get as high as a guy I can. I think I traded Wilson, Flowers, and I think, who was it? Wilson, Flowers, and I think J.K. Dobbins for Devontae Smith and CMC, just because I'm loaded in that league, and I want to get rid of those receivers that are not producing for me. I don't want that headache. I want to know the guys that I'm starting are producing week to week. And so, yeah, that's why I'm trying to get Devontae Smith. But Rave says, hate that MFer. Yeah, man, he's so inconsistent. K Dizzle says, is Brandon Cooks a weapon? He's going to be that weapon, like when it has a bunch of water in it, and you don't know if when you pull the trigger, if it's actually going to fire. So sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Just depends on how much water is in the barrel and is in the canister where the bullet is coming up from. So if it's a revolver, then it's in one of those revolver slots. So, but Brandon Cooks is all right. I don't think he's consistent enough, in my opinion. I think in week 1 he did well, but after that, I don't think he did anything much after that. But haven't been keeping up with the Cowboys. Yeah, see, week 1, 14.5 points, 3, 3, and 2 in weeks 2 through 4. So Brandon Cooks is not that guy. He's just like the 4th option, basically, now that Ferguson's back. Let's see. So I'm catching up here in the comments. Come on, guys. You got to keep them going for me. I'm liking all these comments. I love it. But he says Wicks is there. Says same with Downs and Tutu. Which of those 3? In my opinion, Downs is probably the last guy I want there. First, I would go for Wicks. Then I would go for Tutu. So since you are 4-0, you're probably going to be last on the waiver picks. So make sure you put in all 3 for like the same guy, honestly. But if that league is not that good, I know AJ is going to try to be gunning for those guys as well because he has them in his waivers. But yeah, that's the order I would do it. I would go Wicks, Tutu, then Downs, just because earlier I explained that Downs is only going to be good when Joe Flacco's playing. If Anthony Richardson comes back, it's not looking good for him. So he's not the best guy you could get. This also says, if Wilson still stinks by week 8, I will panic. Do people remember CD's super slow start last year? How did that end up? Yeah, but CD has a little bit more of an it factor than Garrett Wilson does. Garrett Wilson has got the hands for sure. But CD has the whole package. He has the route running. He has that connection with his quarterback. And he also has guys around him that take away from, the safety going over the top and just cutting Garrett Wilson off. CD just has that it factor, in my opinion. He's able to get those double teams and still catch the ball. He's just impeccable route running, impeccable hands, and he's just got it, man. I don't know what it is, but certain people got it, and CD does. I don't know if Garrett Wilson does, but maybe you're right. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and I'm selling Garrett Wilson way too early. But, I mean, we're usually pretty right on this channel, so we'll see in week 8, right? Big E, how them Cardinals doing, my guy? 1-3, right? I'm just joking, big dog. But he says, should I trade Wilson and ETN for like the top elite players? If you can, do it, bro. Honestly, like I said earlier, I'm really high on Tyreek Hill coming back. I'm really high on Devontae Adams, possibly being a mid-tier guy. I think that's who you could get for Wilson, and I think Devontae Adams will be better than Wilson by the end of the year. But in my opinion, I mean, if you want to go for higher guys, I don't know what your situation is. Do you need wide receivers? Do you need running backs? Are you trying to go for like Jamar Chase, elite? I'm just saying that because he's actually putting up points in fantasy. But St. Brown, Jefferson, who are you trying to go after? Like, who's the highest guy that you want? But if it's running back, are you going for like Saquon Barkley? Because Saquon and Derrick Henry, I think right now are the top 2 running backs to get, followed by Kamara because I'm just a Kamara lover. But yeah, try to get Kamara, bro. Just right there. If you want to trade Wilson and Etienne in a package, just try to find a guy who needs wide receivers. And, if they like Wilson, like maybe Dizzle, maybe you can get somebody good. So it just depends on the teams you got in your league. It's always situational. Red Fett, what's up, my guy? I just love how you always show up like at the perfect time when we need more comments. You're always like at that 50-minute mark or hour mark. Just love it. But how are you doing, man? How's it going? He says, I wonder what'll come first. NSP hitting 1K subscribers or Mark or Tua's next concussion. Oh my gosh. Hopefully the 1,000 comes first. We want to get there as quickly as possible. It just helps us out with the channel. We've been doing this for like about 3 years now, and we're still not there. So we're just trying some new things here. AJ, as you can see, is on TikTok, and I'm over here holding it down with the YouTube comments. So we're double dipping here. We're trying to do as much as we can to get to our goal, and hopefully you guys can help us. So again, tell your friends, tell your family. They like football. Anybody you work with, they like football. Tell us about us. We would highly appreciate it. And we love y'all for just coming over here and hanging out with us. So spread the word. Liam says, would you pick up Geno or Fields? Honestly, I think I would go Fields until Fields is benched. If he ever gets benched, I hope he doesn't, because I think this is a great start for Fields to get back, get the confidence up, and become that guy that we thought he was going to be with the Bears. So in my opinion, I would go Fields. I think he has the higher upside. He has the running. He has the rushing touchdown ability. Geno Smith does too, but again, Geno likes to air it out more. He likes to get it to Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and JSN. Sometimes Bobo and a couple of our guys, maybe AJ Barner now is trending out there for some tight end pickups. But yeah, I like Geno, but it's not going to be every week that Geno's going to have the game that he did against Detroit. It's only situational. We're behind. I don't think we're going to be behind, and we're going to be behind in many games. So Geno won't have to air it out that much. Dizzle says basically what I got out of Vince is oh my gosh, pants off for CD. Yeah, I wanted to get him at basically the highest pick I could, but again, I just didn't have the pick to get CD. I had the second overall pick in that league that we're in, and I traded out to the 4th spot. Couldn't get CD, so I got Tyreek Hill. But again, CD's coming back to form. He started off a little bit slow this year, like you said he did last year. So I still think CD's going to be a top 5, if not the lowest top 10 wide receiver. I'm excited for this game too, Dizzle. He says, I'm excited for the Jets in Minnesota and London Sunday morning. I know, dude. This is the first Sunday that I'm going to have off because I was working every Sunday. So I'm just going to wake up, probably go make, a little cafecito or something, because now I'm drinking coffee a little bit more for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's when you get older you like coffee, because I used to hate coffee, hate everything, but I put like creamer in there not too. But yeah, Sunday morning is gonna be amazing. Just having football all the way from 8 in the morning all the way to freaking 10 p.m. at night for us Central Timers. For Dizzle, it's gonna be a little bit different. But Liam says, I'm still recovered from the 300 subscribers giveaway. One name away from Darren Blanche mini helmet. I remember that, big dog, man. That was cool. But yeah, it just happens that way. Luckily, it went to an actual Dallas fan. So I know you're not a Dallas fan. As you can see there, you like the Chargers. But yeah, not too bad, right? We're going to try to do a giveaway at 750. And of course, we're going to try to do a big giveaway at 1,000. We just got to get there. So we'll see. But don't quote me, because, again, I'm not the money guy. It's one of these guys, either AJ or Reed. So we'll see. But Dizzle says,
what's the money question?
Oh, the money guy? Who's the money guy? Is it me or Reed?
Oh, you guys put it on me. I thought it was a fab question. Oh, geez.
Oh, no. No fab.
Okay, continue.
There you go. Let's see. Dizzle says, can I potentially join live for the Jets-Bills game on Monday Night Football in a few weeks? Hey, man, we're down for anything. If you want to commentate on the Jets there, I'll be going for the Bills for sure, 100%. So if you want to be there and argue with me, I invite you, my guy. I invite you. But yeah, I'm down. It'll be me and Reed. I'm pretty sure Reed won't mind. But I'll have to tell him, because then he's going to have to change the whole system up here when he has a scoreboard. Because if not, then some of us will be cut off by something. So I'll have him adjust it if you are down to come on. The Big E, he says, all right, Kyler was looking good. Also, I'm looking for a wide receiver who is like elite for ETN and Wilson. Well, if you're doing that, man, I think the highest you could possibly get is maybe Marvin Harrison, maybe even Stephon Diggs. I didn't think Stephon Diggs was actually going to be good, but right now he's ranked as the number 9 wide receiver. So if you can get somebody like that, I think that's something that you could swing. Anything higher than that, like Neighbors, Nico Collins, I don't think it's possible. I don't think the guys will go for that. But again, it's always situational. So see if there's a guy who just has great wide receiver and a horrible crap team, and then that's where you get him. You say, look, I have 2 elite players here. Just give me your 1 elite player, and you could have a better roster. Again, it's all situational, so just try it out. Dizzle says Vince knows Dizzle was on Fields last week. You saw that early roster move for sure. I saw it. But yeah, Fields is just great, man. I think he's getting the new start. I'm really happy for him. Hopefully, I wouldn't mind him going to the Seahawks, honestly, in my opinion. I really think he could fit our system there as well. Hopefully, here when he's with the Steelers, he gets a little bit better with his pass vision because that was something big that turned me off from him. And that's why I really didn't want him on the Seahawks before. But once he gets into that winning mentality, I think the confidence gets back. I think the throws will be there. We've already seen him throw some great throws called back by flags and some not. So I think he's just going to progress from here. So he's going into his, third, fourth year now. So I think the sky's the limit after this year. Logan Fox Howell, what's up? Welcome into the channel here. If this is your first time, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Sorry that I'm getting to your comment a little bit late here. I have so many ahead of you as we're popping here. But thank you for coming in here. We have a Discord down in the description below. Click that. We have football all week in that Discord. So if we don't ever get to your comments on any videos, we will for sure in the Discord. But here we are. It says, should I trade Dobbins, Schultz, and Ayuk for Lamb? Dude, if you can get Lamb for all that, heck yeah, do it. I think Dobbins is going to start slowing down. I think Schultz is going to not be as consistent as you want him to be. And Ayuk, I'm ready to sell. I'm tired of it. Tired of this drama with Ayuk. I know AJ probably is too over here. He's on TikTok right here, so that's why he's not talking and his mouth is moving. But I'm tired of Ayuk. So if you can get Lamb off of that, I'm down. 3 for 1.
I heard number 11's name. Trade him. Get him out of there. Sorry.
See, I told you guys. I mean, if you can get Lamb off of that, that's amazing. So try it out. But Red Fett says, big thanks to you dudes for the dope content. Usually clock out of work every day around 6:37. So y'all here with the easiest for the ride home or dinner prep. Nice. Well, we love it, man. If you just want to listen, that's all great. If you want to comment, we highly encourage it. We love interacting with y'all as best as we can. But yeah, as you've seen, we've even had fans on here. So if you're a guy who wants to try podcasting and stuff like that, we'll give you your shot here. You can come on a few videos. But yeah, mostly we just want to have fun here. So that's what this channel is all about. And of course, football is the focus. Dizzle says, AJ Brown going to go crazy post-bye week. Dude, I hope so. I have him in 2 leagues, and I'm just waiting for him to pop off and come back into my starting lineup. But same thing with Devontae Smith. Once he comes back, I think the Eagles are going to start to get on a roll again. I don't know if the Eagles are going to actually be true contenders this year, but for fantasy purposes, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, awesome. But so far, I've been liking Goddard so far as they've been out. So hopefully Goddard can still stay relevant because I have him in my dynasty and need him to pop off. Red Fett says, also popping in today because my Bucks are on Thursday and you don't want me if my Bucks are playing like Dookie. He says, it'll be expletive for me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's explicit over there whenever you got your team. But it's going to be a great game, man. I think actually AJ and Reed, who are going to go live for that game, are actually going to like this one. Hopefully, we'll see. But again, always going to be a good game on Thursday Night Football when the Bucks are there. Logan says, I got you, bro. I subbed up. Thank you, man. We appreciate you so much. Always come back Tuesdays. We are going live for the games on Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football as well. So if you want to join in, just talk football, see how the game is going. We do live play-by-plays there too. So the fantasy is every Tuesday, and AJ over here, he posts a video every Tuesday at 12 for the waiver wire pickups. So go ahead and check that one out too. Hit a like, leave a comment. Dizzle says, you guys know who is boys with Ayuk and his good friend, the GOAT N'Keal Harry. Of course, I knew you always had to bring him up from Arizona State brothers. Yeah, that's about it. No more N'Keal. But Biggie says, what AJ yapping about on the other side? His work meeting or what? No, he's on TikTok. We're going live on TikTok and YouTube at the same time to kind of double dip, try to get some more subscribers on both platforms. Because we've been doing this podcast for about 3 years now. We want to pop off one of these days. Of course, we love being a small channel and having to answer every single comment. But again, we also want to get big, but we won't forget y'all. We know our day ones. We know the guys that were our, brick by brick by brick. We know you guys have been here, so we won't ever forget about you. But we want to get to 1,000. We want to get to a
Except for
million one day.
Liam and maybe Ray, we'll forget about those guys. Answering the questions here on YouTube. If you guys haven't yet, we are on YouTube. Help us out. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers.
Oh gosh, but yeah, I won't forget about you guys. Don't worry. AJ just has a bone to pick with you guys. But Dizzle says, I don't want a podcast. I just want to chirp and watch my Jets dominate. We'll see, man. We'll see. The defenses are going to be pretty good there. The Jets have a pretty high ranked defense after I've been doing some research on them. But I don't know, man. I think the Bills are still a high powered offense, so it's going to be crazy. Should be a good game. But Liam says, I don't know if you saw my parlay in the Discord, Vince, but I was one leg from $10 to 800. I had a Demont and Gibbs touchdown. Demont over 6.5 receptions. Pollard 12.5 rush attempts. Levis over half an interception. I did see it. I was super sad for you because I saw one leg and I was like, oh no, that leg's gonna ruin it. I don't remember what it was, but I remember just looking at it and I was like, I know that feeling when you're just one away from getting that big dub and it stinks, my guy. But always just bet the money that you're willing to lose. Always smart betting. That's all you got to ask for. It's all fun and games until you make it a problem. So don't make it a problem. But Logan Fox Howe says he offered me Lamb for Ayuk, Olave, and Dobbins, but I'm not willing to give up that much. He needs a tight end, so I hope he takes it. Yeah, I think Olave and Dobbins. I wouldn't mind Ayuk and Dobbins for sure, but Olave I think you should keep because then you'll dismantle your team just for one guy, and you don't want to do that. So hopefully he takes it. But if not, let us know. Maybe we can help you cook something up to try to get him. Liam says, and the one I missed on was Levis over 14.5 rushing yards. That sucks, man. It's just the injury kind of had him out, so unfortunate. But yeah, so heartbroken. I'm heartbroken for you, man. I hate that. But Red Fed says, I'm pretty good at reading lips, and I can tell AJ is just going on and on how he wishes how Debo and 11 were on Evans and Godwin's level.
Screw you, Red Fed. Screw you, man. Okay. Nick says, trade Nico Collins for Marvin Harrison to A-Chan.
AJ, go ahead and mute.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
You good. But Liam says, thanks, AJ. You just lost a subscriber, you bum. Gosh. So funny, Liam. But he says, if I stayed subscribed for Vince and Reed, not AJ, though. Awesome. Love you, man. Love you for that. Abdizzle says, I'm willing to lose my 1.1K. Hey, man. I mean, I told you to pull out a long time ago. I think you had an offer that was pretty good there to almost make back all your money, if not a little bit more, I believe. But I'm telling you, man, I know you want to ride all the way to the end, but I don't know if the Jets are going to be able to do it. I just don't know. But we'll see. Liam says, seems like Dizzle might already have a problem. Nah, Dizzle is actually not that bad at betting. He actually puts his money on smart bets. I will give him that. He makes quite a bit back. But he's told us some stories about his friends. So I know Dizzle doesn't have a problem whenever he brings us stories about his friends' betting problems. So Correct Vet says, got him. Yeah, man, you did. Super funny. The Big E says, AJ is yapping about how the Cardinals winning the division. Dude, be quiet. You're delusional. The Cardinals have had a tough schedule for sure. So that's why they are sitting at 1-3 right now. But I don't know, man. Their offense has been struggling quite a bit, in my opinion. It hasn't looked as good as it should. And then this loss to the Commanders, man, was just a gut punch. So hopefully y'all can rebound. I like seeing the NFC West as a winning division. But again, I don't think you guys are winning division. Sorry. It's either going to be the Seahawks or 49ers. Hopefully Seahawks. But he says, you follow college ball, Vince? Not as much as I want to. Like I said earlier in this podcast, I was working on the weekends. So Saturday and Sunday, I was at work all the way until 5. So I really couldn't watch football as much as I wanted to. Of course, I'm watching it, even there at work, pending getting in trouble. But yeah, it just happens, man. So haven't been able to watch, but I'm always on Twitter and I always see the guys who are popping off. I follow a lot of sports pages, so I'm always seeing the highlights. But no, not a big college guy as of now. Hopefully, when I get my big boy job, as I finish school already, just waiting on my test and pending results. But yeah, I'm hoping to have the weekends off, and it's just going to be weekends for football. But Dizzle says, my friends are terrible. Never forget the Dallas and Lions game last year. My buddy just casually driving home together was like, I had 1.5K on CD over yards. Like, ugh, come on. Again. Jeez, man. That's crazy. I don't know if I'll ever get to that. I'm always just a $5 bet kind of guy. Maybe when I'm making some better money, maybe go up to like $7.50, $10, but I don't think I'll ever put a bet that big. I just can't. Too much to lose. I wouldn't be comfortable with it. But Dizzle says, all right, Vince, I'm going to bed. Good live, brother. Farts are extra stinky, RN. I think it's definitely the cheesy potatoes. I will 100% agree on that aspect. I know those. But yeah, have a good night, man. We'll see you probably on Thursday when AJ and Reed go live. But keep track, man. We're going to be sending out some new videos this week. So let us know how they are. Of course, always give us your honest opinion. And, comment with your heart, Dizzle. Comment with your heart. But Liam also says, waiting on the MCAT results or what test? Yeah, it's actually the MBCOT exam. It's the National Boards of Certification for Occupational Therapy. I've already got my doctorate. I actually have my plaque on the wall, basically showing my certificate. But I still have to pass this test in order to work as a certified and licensed occupational therapist. So that's all I'm waiting on. Take my test pretty soon. Hopefully I pass it the first time. If not, I can take it as many times as I need to, but I just want to get to my goal as quickly as possible. Start making some big boy money because it'll definitely help. Planning on doing a lot of things in these next 5 years. So need the money to do it too. But Big E says, AJ going crazy on TikTok, but we love Vince. Can't stand the game banger AJ. And AJ gives you a little smirk over there. But yeah, nah, AJ's cool. AJ's cool. So are you, Big E. But Liam says, ruthless Big E. Yeah, man, he is ruthless. That's why we love when all y'all come together, and it's just a great comment section. So I'm pretty sure AJ's missing a little bit, but he's got some big responsibilities over there on TikTok. I for sure wouldn't want to be on that one because I know it's like with all the comments. But Redfed also says, yo, but in all seriousness, because AJ's mom is such a great friend and the reason I found y'all's channel, he says, I would like to help y'all collab for your 1K giveaway and give some custom kicks. Oh, dude, that would be crazy. But I don't know if we would just do it for free. So we'll probably give you some compensation somehow. But yeah, that would be awesome. Shoot, I would be in that running too. I would want to win those kicks because I know you do some crazy work, man. AJ showed us your page, so it's pretty cool. But thank you, man. Again, this is why we love y'all. You guys are NSP faithfuls. So we're grateful to have you guys as long as we have. But Dizzle says, always comment with my heart. Cook them up when I'm in the office. Awesome, man. We love it. Let's see. TikTok is moving for sure, for sure. Let's see. Rave says, for your 1K, fly me out to a Titans game. Maybe once we start making some money, man, we'll meet some of the fans, at some games because all of our dreams, me, Reed, and AJ, we always want to go to every single stadium at least once in our lifetime. So that's a goal we have. Should be pretty cool, especially with this channel. We always want to just go see what's new in the NFL. And like we said, we've only been to a few stadiums so far. But yeah, in 2 weeks, we'll actually be going to Seattle. So that's going to be a bucket list check off for me. And of course, a stadium to check off for Reed and AJ. But Big E says, love AJ, but he got to come to the better Cardinals side. I don't think that'll ever happen. I think AJ will die on a cross.
Screw the Cardinals.
Exactly. Same there. But Redfed says, no, really, Miss A did a lot for my little one. but no hesitation to
Dude,
work with y'all.
Liam, get off my TikTok, bro. I
Did he
love you,
show
Liam.
up?
I did. He did. I love you, Liam.
Liam doing double duty there. But awesome, Red Fat. Yeah, man. We love it. I know everybody from AJ's family pretty much. Super supportive people. So love them all. But Liam also says, when's the next NSP vlog? I feel like I heard you guys say you were going to do a Seahawks game this year. Exactly. Like I said, just hinted at it. In 2 weeks, Thursday Night Football, San Francisco, coming to the Seattle Seahawks. So we'll do a little vlog. I don't think it's going to be a super long one like the first one or the second one that we did. But it's going to be like pre-game stuff, going around the stadium, checking some stuff out. Maybe a little bit of some footage so y'all can see where we're sitting. Y'all can see the perfect
Answer
view
me
that we're
that.
going to
Who
have.
beat you in the championship last year, Z man? He's telling people not to listen to me on TikTok. Can you
Oh
believe
my
this?
gosh. Yeah, Liam, you know who the big champs are over here. It's all three of us.
Big E is here. Big E, shout out to you, man. Appreciate you being here. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are making my day. Appreciate you guys.
But yeah, so we'll be doing a little vlog there. We'll see how good it comes out. But yeah, just bear with us. We're trying to do as much as we can on this channel, but we only have so much time, especially since we're doing so many videos every week. Brave also says, I've never been to an NFL game before. Dude, you have to, man. If you can just like save up some money to just go to one game. I know it's quite expensive, especially since you're so young and you're still just starting to work. But, get that college degree, go for the stars, do your due diligence and get the education that you want so you can get the job that you want. So you always want to have fun in your job so that way you can have fun outside and go to as many games as you want. That's my plan here. Me and AJ live here right by San Antonio, if not in San Antonio, basically. So we're diehard Spurs fans. My end goal also is when I start making some big boy money, got my house, got everything paid. I want to become a season ticket holder for the San Antonio Spurs. I would try to do it for the Seahawks, but again, we live so far away from Seattle, so probably won't ever happen. But I want to go to as many games as I can for the NFL, but for sure I want to be an NFL season or NBA season ticket holder for the San Antonio Spurs. But Liam says, "Oh, LOL, answered it right as I asked it." Yeah, I got you. Telepathy right there, Liam. But AJ is gonna have to be airlifted home after they lose to Seattle. Prayers up to AJ. Yeah, we'll see how good the game is. But AJ has a little explicit gesture for you there, Liam. But yeah, hopefully it's a great game. I think my Seahawks could possibly win. We'll see how healthy the 49ers are and how healthy we are too, because we have quite a bit of injuries and it wasn't the best game from us this past Monday night. But Rafe says, not trying to watch a Patriots game, lol. True. But you could always go watch another game that's close by. I know up there in that northeastern area, there's so many teams there. So, of course, if your Titans come to town, you always want to go and watch a game where hopefully you can see them. But, of course, if you can always go to Tennessee, that's the best thing because you want to go to your home crowd. And that's why AJ Reed and I, in the next 3 years, are planning to try to go to each of our respective home stadiums. So that way we can get that experience. But Rave also says, if it was Titans at Patriots, I would spend the bank on it. For sure, man. It's always different when it's your team. But of course, within reason, make sure you have the money saved up for everything else, all your bills, before you drop that money because it can't creep up. But Big E says, I've been to Phoenix Suns games, just not Cardinals, because they've been booty cheeks. Yeah, man. I mean, it is what it is. But Phoenix, yeah, they did well. But again, just couldn't get it done. But to see KD over there, CP3, now he's with the Spurs. But yeah, some good guys there. Red Fett says, sorry, dudes, but if your stadium doesn't have a pirate ship that fires cannons for first downs and touchdowns, your stadium stinks. Nah, man, you're good. You're good. Yeah, but it is pretty cool. It reminds me some of like the Astros in Minute Maid Park. They have a cannon too. So I've experienced something with a cannon, But yeah, Liam Backus. Oh, man. let's see. Seahawks D line is so hurt. That's why I took Lions running back touchdowns in my parlay. Yeah, you were smart to do so. There was an instance where I wanted to change my pick for the cover of the 4.5 points or whatever, but I just always got to stay faithful to my Seahawks. I knew that we could always stay in the game. But yeah, we just didn't have some calls go our way. We didn't have some passes caught when we should have had them caught. And then, of course, flags, man, holdings, false starts, all that stuff. We just got to clean some stuff up. So once those guys are back on the defensive line, though, we are a totally different team. We're not the best against the run, even when those guys are there, but we're way better than what we showed on Monday Night Football with that D-line. But K9 is the GOAT, Vince, from the Seahawks fan. Yeah, man, he's great. I don't think he's the GOAT yet, but he's been phenomenal. He shaved his head, so it's a new K9. So hopefully that's a new superstition there. As long as his head is bald, he's going to be like prime Peterson. So we'll see. But Rave says Ravens or Broncos defense. It's probably a question for AJ there, but I'll search some stuff up. He's more of the guy who does the defenses, and I'm a tight end guy. But let's look at the Baltimore Ravens. Who are they matched up against? Cincinnati. They've been doing pretty good the past 3 weeks, too, against the Raiders, Dallas, and Buffalo. So 18, 10, and 17 points respectively there. But let's look at the Broncos. I know the Broncos have been doing phenomenally, holding the Jets to just 9 points. How crazy. But yeah, 31 points against Tampa Bay in week 3, 22 against the Giants. And then they're going against the Raiders. I think here the Broncos is definitely the pick for me. The Raiders is just so dysfunctional right now. Devontae Adams is not healthy. Myers and Brock Bowers are going to probably get their points for sure. But the Denver Broncos are just doing phenomenally right now. They're number 4 ranked defense in the league at this point in time, and Baltimore is ranked 16 as of fantasy purposes. So I think for sure you're better off going with the Broncos if you could get them. But yeah, Big E agrees. He says Broncos. Liam also says Baker or Jordan Love this week. I think you got to go Jordan Love after what he did last week. I think he's coming back with a vengeance. They're 2-2. He wishes that they had a better record, and they're 0-2 with him. So I know he wants to get a win on the board under his belt this season. So I know Jordan Love's going to go off. It says, my brain says Love, but my heart says Baker because he plays on Thursday. Yeah, man, prime time for sure. But I just think Jordan Love might get a little bit more points than Baker. But Baker should go off as well. So I don't think it's a bad start, whoever you pick. But I think Jordan might have the upside this week. Big E says Mark Andrews being a good blocking tight end, just not a catching tight end. Yeah, man. I mean, that's okay too. It just sucks for fantasy purposes. But yeah, it happens. Same thing with Kittle in some years. Kittle's just a phenomenal blocking tight end. And some years he's also a great pass catching tight end, kind of like this year. That's why I put my bet on him to get over 760 yards this year. So I think he'll hit it. It's kind of cutting it close right now, but he's doing pretty well. But yeah, let's get to some of these free agent pickups as I finally caught up with some of these comments. So I think we talked a little bit about quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, on and off. But some guys that you should possibly be getting is, of course, if Geno Smith is still there, he's worth it to be on your bench at least, guys. If you have a quarterback that's doing well for you and you just need a quarterback for the bye week, Geno Smith is that guy. Our schedule is not the worst this year, but it's also not the best. But he's just playing severely well this week or this year. So I think he's worth putting on your bench. If not, you can always get guys like possibly Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, who could hold it down. But really right now, there's not too many guys out there if you're in a 10 or 12-man league. But let's move on to running backs. I'll talk a little bit while the comments kind of stack up. But Pirine, I think he's a good pickup, but not the best pickup. Of course, there's guys like McLaughlin still possibly out there. The Broncos running backs are still doing, mediocre. So again, those guys are just going to be bench guys until they start popping off, maybe one day. But other than that, if you can get guys like Antonio Gibson, who are still not rostered in a lot of leagues, I think he has a lot of upside, especially going against Miami, Houston, Jacksonville these next few weeks. I think there's a possibility that they're going to be passing the ball a little bit more and spreading the ball around. So Antonio Gibson for the Patriots might be getting some work in there. So he's my sleeper pick or pickup off the waivers this week. So go ahead and give him a look. He might be the guy who kind of does like what Cam Akers did this past week or past 2 weeks. But yeah, really, other than that, I mean, of course, there's the typical guys like Tank Bixby, if he's still there, possibly. And of course, Braylon Allen. I mean, he's been getting a lot of usage for the Jets there. He's pass catching. He's getting a bunch of like usage inside the red zone. So if you can pick him up there too, he's probably worth it to be on your bench, especially when you have a bunch of bye weeks like we do this week and in the upcoming weeks. But Liam says, appreciate events. Tell AJ that he should take some of the questions. He's slacking off lately. Gonna head out though. Have a good night, fellas. For sure, Liam. Have a good one. Go ahead and get some rest, my guy. But yeah, Biggie also says, I need to know who to replace for Mark Andrews. Oh man, we'll go straight to tight ends then. I'm sorry about that. I didn't see your comment quickly enough, but if it's a 10-man league, I'm pretty sure you got guys like Kobe Parkinson and Zach Ertz still available. Those are my top guys. Of course, if you can get Tucker Kraft from the Green Bay Packers, he just had a phenomenal week when Jordan Love came back. So I'm assuming he might have a good week this next week as well. Other than that, it's pretty slim pickings. A guy that I've been kind of like hesitant to talk about is, of course, Chikakonkwo. But I don't know, man. They're just not passing the ball enough to him. I think he was a guy that had as a sleeper pick in the last round of your drafts, but just hasn't been working out. So really, there's not too many guys out there. But if you want to get a guy who's going to get you maybe 5 points, maybe a little bit more, Noah Fant has that possibility this week against New York. But other than that, I don't really trust anybody else. Those are the only guys, in my opinion, who are actually going to help your team rather than just be in the tight end spot and get you like 2 points. So try those guys out if they're there. If not, try to do a trade. See what you can work with, but don't trade too much. But Big E says Kyler Murray or Geno Smith. In my opinion, I think I'm going Geno. We're going against the New York Giants, who are pretty bad, but he'll have a little bit of a tough time against that defense, in my opinion. I think that there's still room for improvement. So I think Geno's the guy to go with, but Kyler Murray might also get his this week. He is going against San Francisco. He has been pretty good against San Francisco in his past few times, if I'm not mistaken. More as like a running quarterback, but we'll see. I mean, the last time he played San Francisco, I believe he had 13 points, and then the time before that, he was injured. So, I mean, do with that what you will. I think Geno's the better guy here. Andrea, what's up? So she says, hi, everyone. Yeah, Andrea is another fan of ours who has been pretty consistent this year. So glad to have you in the chat here. Let us know if you have any questions. Rave says, tight end position is so booty. He says, today's NFL, they just an extra lineman. Yeah, currently it is, but I think later on in the season, as a lot more of these wide receivers possibly get hurt or outshined by some tight ends, it always happens like week 6, week 7, tight ends just start to pop off. So just hold on, keep some guys if you need to. Other than Mark Andrews, I think everybody should stay on your bench for the time being, because I think there's going to be some offenses that are going to start utilizing tight end. But Rave says they're just blockers. Redfed says Seattle Stadium is on the wish list. It should be. But if I were to ever go see Tampa play at Seattle, it'd be a Hawks win. My luck. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the only thing that you risk going to somebody else's stadium. You're in their element. So usually, if they're not like a horrible team, it's usually going to be a good game, and there's always a possibility that you lose there. But yeah, Seattle has a beautiful stadium. We're sitting on the side where we can actually see the view of the city. So it's going to be super cool where we're sitting at. But Andrea says, Kyler Murray or Daniels? Oh, Daniels, 100%. I don't care who Daniels is going against. As long as he's out there healthy, I think that he's going to be a starter the entire year. Like I said earlier, their matchups this year, just like every NFC East team, just impeccable. They're always going to play, not the greatest teams, but they do go against Baltimore in 2 weeks, but against Cleveland, it is a decent defense in my opinion. I'm not going to rave about the the Browns defense because they do have a lot of injuries, but Jaden Daniels probably gets sacked a few times, but right now he's on a tear. So I'm going Jaden Daniels until he shows me that he can't play against some of these teams. But probably the only time that he may be a sick candidate is maybe against Baltimore. But then again, I mean, against the Bengals, he just ripped it. So he had his best game against the Bengals. So I think he'll do great the rest of the season. But Big E says, what's your take, or what are your thoughts on Xavier Worthy with Rashid out? For sure, I think he's going to get a lot more touches. Again, even this game when he was out, he didn't get too many touches, only 4 targets, 3 receptions, but they were bombs, of course. 73 yards. The average for a catch was 18 to 20 yards. So, I mean, that's what you get with him. The only thing that I think is going to save him is his touchdown relevancy. Usually on those long bombs, he's got the speed. So he's going to get to the end zone more likely against those slower safeties and sometimes when he beats the cornerbacks in the zone coverage. So I think he's going to be a flex guy for me. I personally don't have him in any league at all because I just never take shots on any of the Kansas City Chiefs wide receivers because always with my luck, if I do, they stink. So, but yeah, Xavier Worthy, he's probably a start for the rest of the season, possibly in the flex position, depending on how many flexes you have. But Andrea says Cleveland. Yeah, they're going against Cleveland. So I think that Jane Daniels is going to do fine. I'd start him. And I am starting him in a couple leagues. Let's see. Redfed says, went to Houston last year just to see CJ drive the entire field with 40 seconds left to beat my Bucks. Yeah, I remember that game. That was a good game. But got end zone seats just to see that. Yeah, L. But yeah, I mean, there's always that chance. CJ Stroud went on a tear last year, so it happens, man. I mean, that's just what you risk. But again, at least we saw a great game. That's the cool thing. But yeah, if you don't get a dub, it always kind of stinks. But let's see. I think we were left off on wide receivers because we just finished running backs. So if you have any comments, put them down in the comment section below. But other than that, guys, I mean, I'm just going to talk about a few other pickups that I think are worthy of picking up at this point in time. But Redfed has one more comment here. He says, went to Tampa the year before that just to see Lamar beat Brady and the Bucks on Thursday Night Football. Just your luck, man. Maybe you're better off watching from home, but of course you always want to go to the stadium just to see. But in my wide receiver pickups, I have Shaheed if he's still there. In some of my leagues, he still is. Mostly in those 10-man leagues, people dropped him after a horrible week 3. And week 4, he came back. So I think for the rest of the season, he's going to be on my bench, if not my flex, depending on who is starting and who is on a bye week. So that's one guy for sure that I think you should go after. Another guy, Josh Downs possibly, but only if Joe Flacco is playing. If Anthony Richards is playing, no, big no. Again, another guy that we've been talking about pretty recently, Tutu Atwell. Right now, the Rams are just banged up, man. Puka's out, Kupp is out. Not too many options there. I mean, Kyron Williams is still doing Kyron Williams things, but again, Tutu Atwell is going to be that main guy. He's been getting a lot of usage so far. I believe this last game he had 6 targets, 4 receptions, but again, just like Xavier Worthy, those are bombs. So 20 yards per. So he's been doing pretty good, consistent at 13, 12 points. So he's a good pickup off the waiver wire. Anybody getting double-digit points is worthy of a flex spot for me. But other than that, Xavier Legette, take a chance on him. But yeah, Xavier Legette is probably a guy that I would probably pick up too in those deeper leagues if he's not already picked up. He had a great week this week. I mean, 10 targets, 6 receptions, a touchdown. So again, 19.5 points basically there. I think against Chicago, they're going to need to utilize him because Chicago has a great defense. I think Xavier Legette will get open more than Deontay Johnson. So this may be a good week for him. It could also be a down week. So again, you're always taking that risk. But with all the bye weeks that are going on, Xavier Legette might save you and possibly get you the dub. But other than that, I mean, of course, the big one that everybody's most likely going to go after now that Jordan Love is back is Dontavian Wicks. With Christian Watson out, I mean, he just got a plethora of targets. 13. They only had 5 receptions. That's the only thing that worries me. But again, 2 touchdowns. Man, that really propped him up to 24 points here. But you take away those touchdowns, it's 12 points. I mean, it's still good. Like I said, double digits off the waiver wire is always good for a pickup. Hopefully he can be more consistent, but especially with Jordan Love, I think he will be. Let me get some water here. But another guy that I want to talk about is, a guy that I said would probably be on and off, Allen Lazard. The only thing positive right now for Allen Lazard is that Garrett Wilson is not getting open. So who does Aaron Rodgers need to go to? Allen Lazard. And he's averaged every single time pretty much double digits. First game, he had 26. Second game, 3 points. Third game, 13.8 points. And this past game, 10.8 points. So again, he's pretty much averaging double digits. If he's still on the waiver wire, he deserves to be on a bench. Until Aaron Rodgers and his connection kind of dwindle out, I think he's deserving to be on somebody's roster at least. So Allen Lazard, he's probably the last guy that I'll talk about. If you need any other help with anybody else, always, of course, join the Discord down below. We'll answer any question that you need throughout the week. But since tonight is the waiver wire pickups, right now is the best time to ask. Let's see. Red Fat says, how many of your leagues have big name tight ends on the trade block because of the slow start of majority of them? Actually, there's not too many. Everybody's kind of sitting in our leagues. Usually our leagues have quite a bit of smart people. So they know that, tight ends as a whole is down right now. You might as well hold on to the guy that you drafted in the second, third, all the way out to the 8th round, because that's where like Evan Ingram went off. But yeah, there's not too many guys as trade candidates because, again, everybody's not willing to trade the house to get another tight end that's only getting like 10 points rather than the guy that you have that's getting you like 5. So 5 points is not worth it. Again, if you can, though, get somebody who's more consistent. Ferguson is doing well. Kelsey might be returning to his peak as the Kansas City Chiefs need somebody to throw the ball to. So there you go. But DJ Moore going to get better as the season goes along? I believe so. Right now, he's averaging 12 to 13 points with a dysfunctional offense. It's getting better, but it's not all the way where we want it to be. This past game wasn't too good. I know he only had like 22 yards on 3 catches and a touchdown. Still pretty good to see that he's utilized inside the red zone, but I want to see more production from him. He was the number 1 wide receiver there. I don't know. Caleb Williams needs to link up with him. They need to do something because he's usually open. So, in my opinion, I think he's worth starting this week, especially with the matchup that they have. Don't remind me. But yeah, I think the matchup for them this week is actually a decent one. The Rams. Yeah. So he's going to be doing well against the Rams, in my opinion. I think the entire offense is. So I think he's worth a start. He's in my flex in my Dynasty League and another league that I need him in because of bye weeks and injuries. So DJ Moore is worth a start in the flex spot for me. But he says, who is the pickup, Kraft or Otten? In my opinion, I think it's going to be Kraft for sure. Otten hasn't really been doing up to standards. I think he's averaging like 3 points at this point in time. Oh, actually, no, he's actually been doing well. I was looking back at the first week and second week. He was doing horrible. But against Denver, he had 9.7 points. Philly had 11.2. He's getting quite some good usage there. I like that. 8 and 9 targets respectively with 7 and 6 catches in the past 2 games. Again, I would like to see him use a little bit more in the red zone. But with a pass-heavy offense, I guess Cade Otton is also pretty good. So if you're looking for consistency, it's probably Cade Otton. If you're looking for that boom player that hopefully keeps it going, it's going to be Kraft. So now that I've seen Otton, I mean, pretty good. Not a bad pickup. But Biggie also says, I just realized y'all streaming on Tuesday on the grind. Yeah, man. We're always on the grind. We're going live like 3 times a week. We're having videos out like 3 other days of the week as well. So we're never not doing anything for this channel. It's always getting on here. So we love it though. So we love when y'all are here too. Helps us out. But Red Fett says back to lip reading. Now AJ is just going about McCaffrey's Achilles injury and how they started giving out with him carrying that offense on his back. I know AJ is about to come back, but
Woo!
I know right now.
Shoots.
But yeah,
Wow.
we're looking like we're gonna 2,000.
I couldn't keep up. There's so many
There's
questions.
so many. That's
I
good
got
though, man.
26 diamonds. I don't know what that means.
Dude, maybe that's money. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we got
Maybe
some
it'll tell
money.
you.
Screw YouTube. Let's get out of here.
Nah, but yeah, but it's been popping here too. I think we had like 2 or 3 new subscribers just from this video
Heck
alone.
yeah.
So a couple guys that I answered questions for and they subscribed. So we'll check it out after, see how many from TikTok come over here as well. But yeah, it's been pretty good. But
Nice,
Biggie
dude.
also says, my boy Chase is finally back having fun and playing the game, not worried about the cash. Yeah, man. I think the cash always blinds everybody. Happened with 11 there for the 49ers as well. So when you don't think about the cash, you just think about the game and the love for it, you play better, in my opinion. But yeah. But Red Fet is laughing, and AJ is the big in the big man leagues. Yeah. Hey, so am I. What do you mean?
Dude, it was a lot of and a lot of people are downgrading Jamar Chase. Like they are trading him for cheap. They're trying to get rid of him. I'm like, dude, no. Don't get rid of Jamar Chase. You want that guy. Well, so I don't understand.
Biggie says, I think he got like $3 Chinese.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude, we got to learn some of the stuff on TikTok because I know AJ on the last one also made like $2 or something. So
Yeah.
I don't know what they sent, but I don't know what the prices are of them either. I know a rose is like 10 cents or something, or like $1. I don't know. But again, those TikTok always changes. So, but yeah, other than that, I mean, I've pretty much gotten through quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and a little bit of tight ends, AJ. I don't know if you want to talk about anybody else, but so far I've caught up with all the comments here. I think there's been over like 100 at least over here. So
Nice. Well, good. I know you guys been killing it. I heard my name tossed around a couple of times, but
always, man, always.
hit up the waiver wire hard tonight, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, this for sure I know too. This one in like a lion or something. I think he says just the galaxies are good. But yeah, I think the galaxies are like $20 to $50, something like that. But we'll see if we end up getting some of those. But other than that, yeah, I don't really have too much else. I'm also gonna do some more research here because we're gonna have another video coming out soon, guys, on Thursday. So keep tuned for that. I think a lot of y'all will want to watch it, so you can comment and maybe even talk trash to me. So we'll see. But yeah, but other than that, AJ, you got anything else you want to talk about here?
No, I don't. Good luck in your fantasy matchups. And always try to make your team better.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in here. If you went over to TikTok with AJ just to see how it was going too, we appreciate that. But as always, guys, we appreciate you for commenting, subbing, liking, commenting here, just hanging out with us. That's mainly what we love. So other than that, as AJ said, good luck with your waiver wire pickups. Andrea says, have a good night. And we say that to you guys as well. Have a good night. And as we always say, keep on grinding.